Hi, Miriam folks, and I wanted to share what I've learned about SMA, pneumonia, and the rhinovirus, which is just a common cold. There's 3 things that I've done with my child to help prevent intubation and to help her recover as fast as possible as well. Not only, not necessarily recover from the illnesses, like yes and no, but more so just recover her movements and just the abilities that she had before getting sick. Often, in my experience with the SMA, when our kids get sick or something happens, we see digression. They could do something before, but now they can't after they're sick. And I've been able to help her regain everything that she had before she was sick and more. There's 3 things that I've done, and there's one of those things in particular I do at home all the time to ensure her movement success. And one of those 3 things has definitely helped in giving her the best help possible while she's been here at the hospital. So the number 1 thing is obviously you need the medication. With the rhinovirus, you just have to let that take its course. It can take up to 2 weeks, and usually day 7 through 9 is the worst, and so that's when you're most at risk for the intubation, right? Because there's just so much mucus and things like that. Even RSV, which my daughters had that before too, and ended up intubated, which that was 4 years ago, but still, I didn't know, because for 1, I didn't know she had SMA, but for 2, I didn't know what was needed to help my child, and I didn't know how to help, whereas now 4 years later, I feel so much more empowered to help her. And I can be proactive and depend on the skills that I've learned versus depending on the RTs and the nurses and things like that, which I still use them. We're all a team. But the number 1 thing is definitely getting the medications that you need. Getting the really for the pneumonia, the antibiotics, and for the virus they can't do anything about that except let it take its course. So the best thing to help with that is to make sure you do CPT, suctioning, cough assist, 5 sets, 5 full sets of 5, and a good solid minutes of CPT going over all 10 lobes. And that definitely is, when you start getting to that 7, 8, 9 day, I ended up doing Q4, probably day 7, about day 8, day 9, and day 10. I was doing Q2. About that time is when we ended up at the hospital. So when I started Q2, gratefully, I had started that at the beginning of the day we came to the hospital, and then the RTs helped me during the nighttime. And then, we did that during the day over the next couple days. And now we're back down to Q4, but she's still definitely getting a lot. And when I talk about feeling empowered, I work with her all the time. I know I know how to tell when she needs more sectioning and when she doesn't. And sometimes here at the hospital, they just do Q2 and that's it. And there's really great RTs and there's not so great RTs. And so, some will barely pat and take, maybe 10, 15 minutes and hardly do any suctioning, and they'll just be like, oh, she's doing great, I think she could go to Q4. And I'm like, dude, are you crazy? You didn't do anything. And then there are some really good RTs where they know how to get this stuff out. They know how to take care of your kids. But again, it's the difference between a good RT and a not great RT that can be the tipping point for your child to be intubated. And so that's what I liked about being 4 years later, having the knowledge that I have and the experience that I have with suctioning and CPT and the cough assist, that I just did it when I felt like she needed it, and I didn't feel like the RTs did a good job. I just did it myself. And the hospital I'm at, Primary Children's, they're allowing me to do that, and I have my equipment here because we were life flighted here, and I brought it, and so they're using some of our equipment, and so I can do it because it's my equipment. But then the number 3 thing that has definitely made a difference in her recovery is making sure her body can breathe everywhere. So when kids are getting IVs, and in her case she got really dehydrated, and so they had to go through the head. So when they're getting IVs everywhere, they start losing the natural movement and the natural rotation in the body, and it inhibits their breathing, and so more and more the lungs and the diaphragm are required to do the breathing instead of the whole body doing the breathing. And so when muscle groups start getting turned off and that you start losing that rotation, it puts a lot of strain on the system, and that's another way the system can fail. It can't oxygenate well, and you can end up with intubation that way. And so that's what I did, is I did movement lesson with my child. There's a great breathing course that you can do, that I'm watching the stats, and I'm watching, she's not, I'm doing all the equipment, we've had the medication, and it's just not, well, actually in this one particular case we didn't have the medication because I had just done the treatment because she needed it, and she wasn't satting above, it was like 82, like 85, something like that, and she just was really, really low, and we had to wait for the RT. And so I did a movement lesson with her, and I noticed that her pelvis wasn't breathing. And so there's a great pelvis course that you can do on it. It's not necessarily, it doesn't say pelvis and breathing, but if you work on the pelvis, you're teaching it how to breathe if you take the movement lesson pelvis course. And I did that for a solid 45 minutes, and I watched her oxygenation climb during that time. And I can tell you, I know it's from the movement lesson, because I've just seen the opposite. I've seen what happens when she doesn't have that, and again and again I see when I do the movement lesson, I can visibly see her vital signs improve. And so I feel a lot more empowered this time as I'm here at the hospital, because I can help, and I know a lot about movement and a lot about the body and how movement is all throughout. And so those three things help you if you're in the same situation: SMA, pneumonia, and the rhinovirus, or the common cold. To number one, make sure you get the medication you need. Make sure you're doing your CPT, suctioning, and cough assist. If you're seeing a lot of secretions, then you up it, and you do it around the clock. And so hopefully by that time, if you're getting to Q4, Q2, you'll have the help of the hospital. But even then, I have a hard time sleeping, because I can tell the difference between a good RT and a bad RT, and so I have to do that sometimes. And then the movement lesson definitely is key in just keeping my daughter moving. So by now she's still able to do, move her arms and her feet and do a lot of the things she was doing before even getting sick, that without the movement lesson, she'd still be a little more, less active. So, and I know that because I can see the difference between doing movement lesson and not, and it's just a huge blessing. So hope that helps, and I'll just please subscribe, and I'll just keep sharing my story about what I'm doing to help my child move and succeed and flourish despite the challenges that she has. Thank you very much.